Hey, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm here with an important message for the African diaspora in particular, or that particular racial demographic. The African people on the whole, in the continent and elsewhere. I want to say that is important for our progression, is important for our healing, that we fight back, that we fight against the indoctrination that has been a weapon used against us for centuries during the times of slavery into colonialism, and even in the post-colonial era there was a indoctrination to embed a inferiority complex into our psyches. But I'm saying it's time that we fight back. Now the question is, how do we fight back? Now when somebody, or if somebody, for example, calls you a liar, or say you're speaking a lie, right? If this is wrong, right? If this is not so, then you would retort, you would fight back by saying, no, I'm not speaking a lie, I'm speaking the truth. So you would use the opposite, right? Of a lie is the truth. If somebody tells you that you're ugly, and this is not so, right? Then you would retort by saying, no, I'm not ugly, I am beautiful, or I'm gorgeous, right? The opposite of ugly. So my point being is this: if somebody tells you that you are inferior, you would retort, or you would respond, or you would fight back by saying, no, I'm not inferior, I am superior, right? And this is the point I'm trying to make. African people must affirm their racial supremacy. African people must wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and repeat the affirmation that I am superior, I am racially superior, I embrace my African supremacy. Alright? I affirm and embrace my African supremacy. They must say this many times, because the messages have been infiltrated many times, reinforcing the fact that, or reinforcing the pseudo fact, I should say, that African people are inferior. All right, they were the only racial demographic to go through a dismantling of their identity, their sense of identity, their cultural identity. It was torn apart, you know. They were relegated to a position of being subhuman, not fully human, part animal, part human. This was even instituted in law in certain countries where African people were not considered human then. So the infiltration into our psyches, reinforcing this inferiority complex, was deep and profound. So African people must take the conscious position of affirming their superiority in order to fight back this inferiority complex. Right? So some people may have a problem with African people claiming racial supremacy. But what I'm saying, you cannot heal by just striving for racial equality in that sense, because of the nature of the history, right, regarding this particular demographic, racial demographic. They cannot just strive for equality, because who are they going to strive to be equal to? The same people who subjugated them, enslaved them, murdered them, tortured them. That is the standard. That's what they're bearing their equality on. They must supersede it. They must supersede their adversaries and for their own psychological health. This is the only way. So they must affirm their racial supremacy. They must affirm their African supremacy. Right? They must wake up every day and say, I am superior. And this is how healing, true healing, I believe, would begin. Because the inferiority complex, the self-hatred, the inferiority complex, it's still embedded, or I believe it was even passed on in our DNA, in our genetics. Right? So we born with a sense of inferiority. And when you watch the white demographic, the white race, they embrace white supremacy, right? And you see where they societally on a part of progression to a large degree, right? They a lot of innovation, technological innovation comes out of this race. Because why? Because they have embraced the idea of being superior. So therefore their actions, therefore their world would reflect such, right? African people embrace the false ideology that they inferior, so therefore their world now reflecting that inferiority, right? We see it in their subjugation, we see it in their subservient status in many parts of the world, right? Yes, we have made strides. Some people have found that healing, that mental strength, you know. Some people never suffered some certain traumatic damage like others, you know. So there's exceptions, there's success stories within the mix of African people who don't suffer from this inferiority complex, but collectively in a large degree there's an inferiority complex still harboring over the African diaspora, right? So this is my message. This is my message to the African demographic. Now, if other races, if the Indian races, for example, suffer the extreme dismantling and the inferiority complex, like African people, my advocation would be the same. I would tell them, look in the mirror and say that I am superior. If you were attacked, basically, and told you were inferior, if the Indian race, now they were attacked too. White supremacy spared no one really, you know, but they weren't dismantled. Their sense of identity wasn't dismantled and destroyed like the African man and African woman, you know, and the African child, you know. So it's important. It's important. I wanna end it here. But this is the message. Look in the mirror and affirm that I am superior. I'm superior. I'm racially superior. Alright? I embrace my superiority. I embrace my supremacy, my African supremacy. Right? Remember, you weren't the one who you were just minding your own business when you were attacked by invaders, you know, foreign invaders who started to say you are savage, you're inferior, you're beast, you're bestial, your actions were bestial. You were attacked. And it's only intelligent, it's only natural to defend yourself. Or we be in a position where we need to fight back still. And sometimes fighting back doesn't necessarily mean physically taking arms, you know, but fighting back may just mean undoing the damage done to your psyche. So the war is really within. Right? The war is really within. So begin with that. Say every day that I'm superior.